Okay, my machine is all set and ready to go. And now what I'm doing is creating double fold bias tape. So I've actually never done this method, but it's included in the pattern, which is from Gracie Steel. And what it calls for is basically cutting out a square that's whatever appropriate size to get the length bias tape you need. You cut it along the diagonal, sew the two sides together, and that will create a parallelogram. And then on there, you measure out whatever width you need for your tape, and then draw parallel lines all along that parallelogram. Then you fold it, mismatching sides of the parallelogram, and stitch it again, and then you cut along the diagonal lines that you've already created, and that's going to help create the strip that you need for your bias tape. It's super easy, and it's way less fabric waste than if you were to cut along the actual bias on the fabric, because that could take yards and yards of fabric. So this is super easy. I love this method. We'll probably use this method forever moving forward. Now for the most tedious part is folding and ironing the bias tape. So I'm basically just folding in both edges, and then I will fold it in half again and iron it one more time to get the tape that I need. So that completes the bias tape, and now I'm moving on to the creating the straps portion of this pattern. Phew, that was a lot of ironing and burning my fingertips, but now I'm back over at the machine, and I'm basically just going to do a straight stitch folding what I've ironed in half, and that's going to create some really tight little straps for my dress. Okay, I'm back. It's another day. So far, just to recap, so far what I've accomplished is putting together this bias tape, which I'd actually never done before, and I really love the idea of using a square fabric and marking out all those rows and creating this bias tape. I think that's a really quick, easy way, and it saves a lot of fabric yardage, so that's really awesome. But we did that, and I put together the shoulder straps for the dress. And so my next step I'm going to be working on is marking and sewing the shirring. So I've got my bodice pieces here, and I have to get these ironed and mark out all of the rows for the shirring, and then we'll try to get started on the actual shirring process. I haven't done it before, so I'm a little hesitant, and I really love this fabric, and it's from Joann, so I can't get this exact fabric again. So I'm taking a little bit of a risk, but we're gonna get started and see how it goes. And we'll see how far I get before my daughter wakes up from her nap. Here I am getting ready to measure all of these shirring lines So the pattern basically gives you specific distances. So you want to do 2 close together and then a big gap and then the next 2 rows of shirring and so on and so forth, all the way across the front and the back. So that's what I'm working on right now. Now that we've got a basically fully formed sheared top, I am going to work on sewing the side seams of the skirt. So both side seams are going to get finished and then serged, and then I will work on putting the elastic in the waistband to add some ruching where it's going to attach to the bodice. Okay, so I'm finally getting back to work on this dress, and I had to put this project on hold for, I don't know if it's been a week or more than that, but we were celebrating my daughter's birthday, and so I paused to make her like a little outfit, which I do every year, and now I'm back to it, and my goal is to get this dress finished and then maybe potentially even like a matching like top and skirt. So my husband and I are going on a small little weekend getaway, just the 2 of us, and so I want to have some cute outfits to wear for that. So I'm really going to try to make sure that this dress gets done. My goal is today, but my more realistic goal is by the end of this week. So basically what I have so far is the top, which I haven't actually tried on yet, but I feel like it's stretching really nicely. This is my first time doing any type of shirring, so I'm really happy with how this turned out. I have my bias tape, and then I've got 2 straps, and then my skirt. I think I need to do, oh, I don't know what this is. I think I need to do more ruching in the skirt. But I'm gonna look over the instructions again and kind of just see where I'm at and where I need to pick up. I've also never done adjustable straps with like the little rounds and clasps, so we're gonna see how that goes, but this is what I'm digging into today, and let's get started. my straps basted, and the next step is to attach this bias tape around the top edge, and I believe it's going to encase elastic. Okay, so that's the next thing I'm gonna tackle. Is attached all the way around. I really had a little bit of trouble with that, so it's not my neatest work. I think having to like stretch it with the elastic was just a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be, but it doesn't look terrible, and thankfully with the elastic going inside the casing and then also the shirring, it won't be too bad, but I wish it was a little bit neater. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my elastic onto the safety pin, and then we're gonna just feed it through the casing, trying not to twist it at all, and that will make it nice and like scrunched at the top. So let's get going with that. Back at it today. I think today is our last day working on the Shirley Shirred Dress by Gracie Steel. This pattern's been really easy to follow. I'm happy with how it's turning out. Just doing a quick press on the top here, and then we're gonna go ahead and pin and attach the skirt, and then we'll see how everything fits. Okay, so now we have the completed dress. I'm really happy with how it turned out. There are a few little adjustments that we'll talk about after I show you a little try on. So like I said, I'm really happy with how this dress turned out. The shirring was not nearly as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. I was really nervous going into that because I'd never done it before. But I think it turned out really cute. First adjustment that I would probably make, I'll probably make it now because it's not gonna be that difficult, but I didn't measure the shoulder straps before putting it together and trying it on. So I'm gonna shorten them just a tish because the straps are too long right now, and I don't like having, even though these clasps are clear, so you can't really see them from afar, but I don't like having the clasps like circle all the way over to the front, and because I have a short torso, I need a much shorter length than what was recommended. So I'm gonna shorten those, and that will kind of help the front get this nice scoop neck, which I really love, versus where you can see in the try-on, it was kind of like coming across flat. So I'm gonna make that little adjustment, and then I did not do French seams. That's what's recommended in the pattern. I decided to use my serger, honestly, just for time saving. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Oh, last thing that I would do next time is definitely add pockets. Now that depends on the weight of the fabric, and you don't want it to pull the shirring down too much, but I don't always love carrying a huge purse, so pockets are definitely a must. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised I didn't think about it prior to getting the whole thing complete. But overall, really satisfied, super easy pattern to follow. Would definitely recommend. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a little thumbs up, and I hope you come in and hang out again.